I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with loving eye on you. Psalms 32 verse 8. This verse has become my motto. My soul was toiling in the quest for the extraordinary. I am Erica Nelda, who got to university with many dreams and with the aim to succeed by standing out from the rest. I have always loved that uniqueness, and I believe that we ought to be unique in everything we do, especially in terms of intellectual abilities. I love discoveries and was interested in everything that had to do with human existence, which was the greatest mystery. I was trying by all means to understand, and that's how I got enrolled in psychology. I was passionate about my studies. However, I found it insufficient. I was looking for more, exploring other topics that came to my mind, and the one which caught my attention the most was the relationship between God and man. So I got close to many men of God, given that Christianity was the religion I was more familiar with. I was fascinated by some of his principles but skeptical about others. Personally, I didn't find any interest in it to the extent of exchanging or engaging in it, well, until I met this man. "Miss, please, can I talk to you for a moment?" he asked me. It was an afternoon. I had finished with my weekly classes and I was heading home with some friends. When leaving the campus, the stranger came past me as if he knew me before. "What do you want to talk about?" I asked with all the happiness that could exist. When my friends heard that, they asked me not to pay attention, that this man was usually narrating the same story, but no one was ever paying attention to him. Instead of listening to them, I was curious to hear what he had to tell me. To my greatest surprise, we discussed for hours. I was thrilled, if not carried away by the talk on Jesus Christ and how we needed to serve him. He suggested that I should follow him in his church to know more about, which I did without a second thought. The following Monday, I went to class and everything seemed different. I wasn't seeing things the same way again, talk less of people. I can see that they were all unclean based on my prophet's words, since that is how he introduced himself. I was not having issues with people. My only desire was to go to church and devote myself to God. The chosen ones are people set aside, consecrated to only serve God and the Word. You must give him everything you have and surrender yourself to him. Do not defile yourself anymore with these fools, talk less of with money. These were the words of the prophet that followed me every day. For me, the rest of the world had become demons. Even my family had no values in my eyes. When they paid me a visit, I always looked for excuses not to spend time with them. One of my friends who was worried came close to me to try to reason me, but I refused. I instead got mad at her. She was the pastor's daughter, so she said she was going to discuss it with her father. It didn't matter as long as she left me alone. The pastor paid me a visit. He wanted to know more about my knowledge of God, especially my relationship with this prophet. Prophet Andrew is a real man of God. He has revealed many things I didn't know, and I know that now I am no longer of this world. I will soon leave this world to have a better existence. He looked at me and seemed a bit worried, and then he told me, "You're right. We will soon leave this world. But don't you think that before leaving, we should do what God has called us to do? We cannot simply live in a self-sufficiency and wait for the end." My daughter, before being Christians, we are realistic, and I have the feeling that you have joined an imaginary cult. When I heard these words, I got so angry. "Sir, I don't care about what you think about. Besides, I have never needed sought for your opinion nor asked to meet you, so get out," I said with a threatening tone. He tried to insist, but I didn't give him the opportunity. I later on blamed my friend for trying to manipulate me through her father. She was so sad about my reaction but decided to pray for me, which was what my family had decided to do. "I don't need your prayers, but that you should leave me alone," I said. Some weeks later, I had a dream, and in that dream I saw my prophet who held my hand and we were walking through the desert. We found ourselves in front of a pit in which he pushed me in. I cried out for help, but he wasn't reacting. I realized that my body had remained near him and that my soul was going deeper into the pit. I woke up from the bed panicking. I took my Bible, I opened Psalms 32 verse 8, and for the first time I decided to pray by myself. "My God, I am really afraid. I ask you to please help me. come to my rescue. I do not know what is happening, but all I know is that you are almighty. I believe in you. Come and deliver me, I beg you. Once I finished praying, I called my friend to tell her about the dream, and she came some hours later with her father. After narrating the story, he told me, what you saw is really disturbing because there is no doubt that this prophet that you're talking about is holding you captive. Your soul is at his mercy, which explains your behavior as well as your change of situation. It seems the prayers for you yield fruits and God revealed to you the truth. You must be rescued from his clutches. My daughter, you know nowadays there are many of them who are agents of the devil, looking for desperate people, thirsty for knowledge, and they hold you captive with 1 or 2 verses. Jesus warns us by saying that many will come in my name, saying it's me, but it's just to lead you astray. We need to be very careful. I decided to follow the instructions of the pastor, and after some time, I was feeling much lighter. I made peace with my relatives. The last time I saw my so-called prophet, he didn't even want to come close to me, as if I was stinking. It was as if we have never known each other. Today, I still cannot believe that I was so naive. This episode of my life taught me a lot, and I decided to continue with my studies in psychology to help people who have been victims of such prisons like me. I do it with great joy, but especially with the help of the Holy Spirit, because healing is not physical but must be spiritual first.